and it had such a profound impact on me that, as I was preparing for this, I was trying to write out like the top 3 points that I could share and the pros and the cons. And I don't know, that just felt a little not disrespectful of the experience, but kind of similar, kind of along those lines. So I figured I would just share from the heart my experience at the Dr. Joe Dispenza week-long retreat. And to give you all a background, for those of you who haven't watched any of my other videos or read any of my wonderful poems that are on Instagram, I have a background in Zen meditation. I've been practicing meditation for about 8 or 9 years at this point. So it's been a steady practice for me. I've had a lot of beautiful experiences doing Jon Kabat Zen, body awareness meditation, which is like 21 minutes a day when I first started. And then I started practicing Zen, which is more like 30 minutes to an hour a day. I went on week-long retreats with Zen for about 4 or 5 years. And so now I found Joe Dispenza's work about 3 years ago, and his work really transformed every aspect of my life. I started to use it first in my career. I started to use the clear intention and the elevated emotions to manifest a new potential. And so I would say that is a big part of Joe Dispenza's work and message, is to get into a quiet state, and then through certain breathing techniques, you can actually slow your brain waves down to a alpha or theta brainwave state, and then even speed them up to what's called a gamma brainwave state. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, but once you are in these deeper states of meditation, you can more effectively envision, which is what the clear intention is, envision who you want to be and what you want to manifest, and then you marry that with elevated emotions. So emotions like joy, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So you tie both of those together, and that is the electromagnetic frequency that you're sending into the field, and that's how you draw things to you. So that was like the watered down Southern Appalachian version of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. It's much deeper than that, but that's kind of a broad, painting with broad strokes here. So I have the Zen background. Always wanted to do a Joe Dispenza retreat. This opportunity came up to go to Orlando for a week-long retreat, and I knew when the email went out that I wanted to do it, so I signed up for it. Took the week off of work and all my other affairs, had those in order. And so just got back not too long ago from it. And I gotta say that overall it was one of the best weeks of my life. And I don't say that lightly. I really mean that. And I think that a lot of it has to do with envisioning my dream pretty much the whole time. So the dream that I have for my life, got a few different ones, but there's one big overarching one where the other ones kind of fit into them. And so the whole week was really about that. But it wasn't just about me and my dreams either. It was also about getting into heart coherence, which is the main theme of the retreat, was pure love, and getting into heart coherence. And we actually did a few healings on individuals that were sick or afflicted in different ways, and we had an impact on them, a positive impact on them. So that was wonderful. But the week started on, it was Sunday. Yeah, Sunday afternoon was the check-in. I was part of the research group. So I signed up to wear this Fitbit, and I was kind of hesitant to wear it because of the EMF and all that, but I wore it for the week. I sacrificed for it. So I wore the Fitbit, and they took my blood before and after. I haven't gotten the results back from it yet, but I'm sure we will soon. And so I was part of the research study, so I signed in a little early on Sunday, and then Sunday night, we had the first meeting with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it was just wonderful to be there and to meet everyone, and to I don't know, there's a special feeling of being around people who have shared values, who have read similar books and podcasts and all that stuff. So it was really cool to be around all the people that I met, and a lot of them I've kept in touch with and have starting to develop great relationships with everyone there that I met. So that was one of the main highlights of the event, I would say, are the people. So Sunday night we checked in, met with Dr. Joe, and the structure of the days was pretty similar across the board. We got up early for a meditation, and we did the breath, is what it's called, which is a breathing technique that I first started practicing with Dr. Joe 3 years ago. And you'll have to look it up online. There's a few videos on it, but essentially you are bringing the mind out of the body, because our mind gets addicted to these survival emotions of fear, depression, sadness, guilt, shame, all of the lower emotions. Our mind gets addicted to them, and our body does as well. And so the meditation of bringing the mind out of the body is about bringing that energy up. So clenching your perineum, lower abs, middle abs, upper abs, relaxing your chest, and allowing that air to flow up to the top of your head, holding it for a few seconds, and then letting it go. And I'll tell you, when you release that, once you start to practice it, and it's really a skill, once you start to build that skill, when you release the breath, it puts you into a different brainwave state that makes you much more susceptible to your dreams and your visions for yourself and for the world. And you start to feel a lot better as well. So it's a great meditation. I guess you could call it breath work, but I wouldn't call it breath work. It's like a preliminary physical meditation to get you ready for deeper states of meditation. We did that almost every day. So if you're watching this and you haven't practiced that breathing technique yet, I would highly recommend typing in like the breath Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I think it's called pulling the mind out of the body. So that breath was like a main part of the retreat, so that's why I bring it up now. But the meditations themselves lasted 2 hours on average. There was one meditation that was 4 hours. It was the pineal gland meditation, and it started at 4 a.m. on Friday, I think it was. And we went until I think 8:30. I think it was like 4.5 hours. And it was a combination of seated meditation in the chair and then also laying down. That was one thing about the retreat that I didn't know we would be doing as many lying down meditations. I really liked it actually. And there's another breathing technique that he introduced me to that's a little more like holotropic breathing, where you like breathe it in and out really fast and then you hold it and then you let it go. I liked that a lot. You felt a lot of euphoria after doing that. So I was really impressed with Dr. Joe's ability to help us get into these different states and sustain them for a long period of time. So that's like one compliment I would give him right off the bat, is his ability to guide 2,000 people through this experience. And a lot of us had a wonderful experience there. So he's doing a really good job with that. So really look up to him in that way. So that was also another part of it, the longer meditations in the morning. And then we would break for breakfast. The food was great. We stayed at the Gaylord in Orlando, and it's my first time staying at this one. And so the hotel was phenomenal as well. But the meals were great. The meditations were great. I really loved how we focused on the potentials in the quantum field. So you focus on the unlimited number of possibilities there are in the world and in the quantum field. And then you pick one essentially, and then make your body become new by feeling the emotions associated with that dream. And so it was the practice of that. So I'd say my number one takeaway from that week was to do the work. I was talking with a good friend of mine, Jake, yesterday, and he asked me what was the main takeaway, and really doing the work is my main takeaway. And that's something that Joe, you can tell, he's a lot like Paul Chek in that he has a lot of integrity for what he teaches. So he's not just writing these books, he's not just going on these podcasts, but he does the work every single day, and the people in his community do the work every single day. And that's rare. You know, I've been part of a lot of communities. I've had a lot of great mentors in my life. I would say Paul and Joe are two of the, they have a lot of integrity. I'll just say that. So you could feel that. And I think that's why I wanted to bring that point up is because there's a lot of spiritual practices, there's a lot of spiritual teachers, but as long as you are having integrity in what you do and you're doing it to the fullest, I think you're going to see a huge benefit. And so if you haven't tried the Joe Dispenza technique yet, again, highly recommend trying it out. Now, I did not do a progressive retreat before going to the advanced retreat. So I went to an advanced week-long retreat in Orlando. The progressive retreat is what you typically do before the advanced retreat. And it's like a 3 or 4 day weekend. But I did them online. I watched the videos online, so you can do that as well. But I would personally recommend, if you're new to the work, to do a progressive retreat first. They have one in Paris. I think I have a few friends that are going to it in Paris. So yeah, do the progressive first, because the week long was super intense. I think if I didn't have a strong background in meditation and in Zen, I don't think that I would have lasted the whole week. Maybe I would have, but it was intense. And for me, that was a good thing. But yeah, if you're new to this, meditation, newish to meditation and to his work, I would recommend doing a progressive. I am going to do the advanced follow-up. So he has those 3 different live retreats. He's got progressives, he has advanced week long, and then he has the, what did I say? The follow-up. I think it's advanced follow-up. Anyway, I'm going to do that one next. So I'm really looking forward to that. But one thing that kind of threw me off guard at this retreat, I will say this, the container felt a little loose. Now, coming from Zen, and I think this is where my Zen mind comes from, or this is where it's coming online, is the containers are a lot tighter in Zen, which means there's more rules, you don't make any noise, you wear all black, you shut the freak up, you know what I mean? Like it's just very, it's very kind of rigid in a lot of ways, at least in some practices, in some circles, and in traditional Zen, it's like that. So anyway, I'm bringing this up because it's not that way at these retreats with Joe Dispenza. You can wear whatever you want, you can sit wherever you want, and during the meditations, sometimes people have a reaction to the energy that's moving through their body. And whatever that reaction is for them, they do it, right? And so it's very tricky. And I wanna compliment Joe first by saying that I think he does a phenomenal job leading 2,000 people in a deeply meditative and spiritual experience. Like really, 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 really amazing job. I think it's something to look at, and maybe this is just something that I need to look at for myself. I'm totally open to that, but it was very distracting to hear people have their own reaction to energy moving through their body. And so I don't think that distraction is something you can control, at least in the very beginning when it happens. I think your body reacts to it. And then Joe talks about the refractory period, where when you react to something, okay, but how long after that are you still distracted by it? So it is a process and it is a work that you do, but I don't know. I still hold that question in my mind of like, what can we do about the distraction? And is it fully genuine for someone to have that type of reaction to the energy? We don't know. And at the end of the day, maybe it doesn't matter as much. But to me, it did. I still had a wonderful time. But that part I wasn't quite ready for. And I bring it up because just to be ready for it. I mean, it's okay. Going into it, you don't want to have too many preconceived notions. But I wish someone would have told me that. And maybe they did and I didn't hear them, but I don't think anybody told me that before I did the retreat. So I would have liked to have known that, but again, that's probably something that I work on myself and that I am working on. But yeah, I had a phenomenal experience, and I'm definitely going to go to the advanced follow-up retreat. I had a lot of beautiful experiences, again, with the people there, with connecting with individuals on the breaks, at the mealtime, just tons of different conversations about life and about our dreams. And so would highly recommend, if you've ever thought about doing one of his retreats, to do it. I recommend the progressive retreat first and then the advanced week long. But I would love to go with you. You know, if someone's watching this and they are unsure about it, read the books, watch the videos, and do the work, as they say. So yeah, I wanted to get on here and just talk about it without too much structure, because I know a lot of you asked me about my experience there. More than happy to talk offline as well if you have more questions about it. But yeah, let me know what you think.